All right, today we are going to learn how to add and subtract radicals. Yesterday you learned how to simplify a radical, and you're going to have to do that again today because that's a part of adding and subtracting. So if you look at the 3 steps up at the top of your notes, step 1 says to simplify all radicals. And then step 2, you're going to identify radicals with the same index, which they're all going to have the same index on this one. They're all going to be square roots and the same radicand. Remember, radicand is the number under the radical sign. Only those with the same radicand can be added or subtracted together. They're kind of like terms. Step 3, for common radicals, you're going to add and subtract only the coefficients, and you're going to keep the radical the same. So if I'm looking at this example, I'm going to start with what I did yesterday, which was simplifying the radical. And you've got 2 radicals here, and I'll split this down the middle. You need to simplify -2 radical 20. So remember, we circle the outside number. And in fact, I think I'm going to bring it over here, and let's break it down over here on the right. So we're going to circle the -2, and we're going to divide 20 using only prime numbers. And you know you're done when you get a 1 at the very, very bottom as your last number. Now, since this is a square root, we need groups of 2 because square means 2. So I'm going to circle up this group of 2. So -2 radical 20 will be -4 radical, what did we not circle? We didn't circle a 5. And we don't care about the 1 because 5 times 1 is still 5. So -2 radical 20 simplifies to be -4 radical 5. All right, now -2 radical 5. Let's see here. Let me change colors. -2 radical 5. I'm going to circle -2. If I divide 5 by 1, I cannot circle any groups of numbers. So -2 radical 5 is already simplified. Now, the ones that you can add and subtract are going to have the same radicand number. 5 is the radicand. Because both of these numbers have radical 5, you can add only the coefficients together. So if I add -4 plus -2, I get -6, and radical 5 stays radical 5. That is your final answer. Okay? All right, so number 1, I have radical 6 and radical 6. That's already done for me. I don't have to simplify those. The only thing that I can do radical 6 with is a 2 and a 3. There's no pair of numbers in 6. So I'm going to add the coefficients together. 3 plus -2 is 1 radical 6. That is my answer. Number 2 is the same way. I have radical 5, radical 5. So I can add 2 plus 2. That will give me 4 radical 5. That is my answer. Okay? But when you get to number 3, you've got to break it down a little bit more. So let's look at 10 radical 7. If you break 7 down, you get 7 and 1. That's already simplified. So 10 radical 7 is already done. Okay, let's look at 2 square root 63. I can divide, I've got a 2 on the outside, I'll go ahead and circle it. I can divide by 3 and get 21, 3 and 7, 7 and 1 lets me know that I'm finished. So I've got a pair of 3s. So remember, you're going to multiply these together. 2 times 3 is +6. And then I have a 7 left over. So see, you have square root 7, square root 7. I can add 10 plus 6. 10 plus 6 is 16 square roots of 7. Okay, guys, if I go too fast, just pause the video. Okay, so number 4, we have square root 15. Let's break it down. Let's see, I can divide by 3 and 5. 5, and 1. There's nothing to pair up there. So radical 15 is already as simplified as it can be. All right, let's do 6. I don't care about the minus sign. That's going to just stay there. 6 radical 60. Oops. Okay, 6 radical 60. Let me see if I can. Wait 1 second. Let me see if I can move this over. That's probably about as good as I can get it. Okay, so I can't divide by 6, guys. 6 is not a prime number. You cannot divide by 10. It is not a prime number. You can only divide by 2, 3, 5. Let's do 5. That would be 5 and 12. Do 2 and 6. We'll do 2 and 3. 3 and 1. 1 lets me know I'm finished dividing. I've got a pair of 2's and a 6. 6 times 2 is 12. And then I have a 5 and a 3 that have to go back under. 5 times 3 is 15. All right, remember there's a coefficient in front of that first one of a 1. So since I have square root 15, I can add 1 plus negative 12. 1 plus negative 12 is negative 11 square roots of 15. All right, I'm going to keep going. Number 5. Let's talk about 2 radical 32. So I'm going to circle that 2 in the front. Let's divide by 2. That would be 2 and 16, 2 and 8, 2 and 4, 2 and 2, 2 and 1 lets me know I'm done. 1 and done. Okay? So I've got another pair of 2's, another pair of 2's. So let's see, that's 2 times 2 times 2. That's 8. And then what I have left is a 2. So 2 goes back under. So now minus. Now let's talk about 3 radical 18. 18, I got a 3 there. 2 and 9, 3 and 3, 3 and 1. 1 means I'm done. I got a pair of 3's. 3 times 3 is 9. And then you've got a 2 under it. Square root 2, square root 2. I can add 8 plus negative 9. That is negative 1 square root 2. Okay? Now, not always will you be able to add all the numbers together. Let's skip to number 9. On the back. Skip to number 9. Okay? All right, we've moved up to 3 terms now. So let's talk about this first one. This first one, 10's already simplified because if you think of 10, you've only got a 2 and a 5. There's nothing you can pair up. So I can only add the first term and the last term. Can you tell it's during lunch? The bells are ringing. I can only add the first and the last term together. So negative 2 plus negative 2 is negative 4 square roots of 10. So what do I do with this guy in the middle? You just bring him down. You cannot add those together because you cannot add a square root 10 with a square root 6. So this is my final answer. You could also have this. Negative 3 square root 6 minus 4 square root 10. That's the same answer. On that one, you can't always do that, but you can do it. You can do it a lot. All right, let's go to number 11. Let's just stay with number 11. We'll do the odd numbers. Okay. All right, let's talk about negative 3 square root 50. I know I can break down that 50. He's too big. So let's do 5 and 10. 5 and 2, 2 and 1. 1 means you're done. So here's a pair of 5's. Negative 3 times 5 is negative 15 square root 2. All right, now let's talk about the middle term. 8, the square root of 18. Let's divide by 2. You get 9. 3 and 3, 3 and 1. 1 means you're done. So you got a pair of 3's. There was a 1 as a coefficient. 3 times 1 is positive 3 square root 2. And then I've got this last term right here that I can't break him down. So I can only add these first two terms right here. Negative 15 plus 3 is negative 12 square root 2 minus 3 square root 3. That is your final answer. And that's how you do all of these, okay? So I'm going to let you have at it. Finish these notes. Finish your homework. Text me if you have a question. You might have to shoot me a picture, and then I'll have to shoot you one back showing you what to do. But I will have my phone with me in the meeting, and I will be able to help you. Okay? Bye.